Coming up this weekend, we have the UFC in Glasgow, Scotland, where we see the Brazilian Thales Leites taking on the Brit Michael Bisping. And as always, breaking these fights down for you, I'm Santino DeFranco with Fight University. I was originally kind of indifferent about this matchup. It just really didn't do much for me. On one side, we've got Michael Bisping, who is 4-4 in his last 8 fights. He's 36 years old. He just hasn't looked spectacular lately, and to say that he's probably at the downslope of his career and that he's probably not going to make another title run is, well, it's correct. And then on the other side, we've got Thales Leites, who is coming back to the UFC, had some time away. My last impression of him was, the snooze fest he gave us against Anderson Silva years ago. But then I started looking at Leites' record recently, and it's actually pretty impressive. He's on a 5-fight win streak in the UFC, and his boring style has gone the way of the dodo, and he's finishing fights. Watching him is exciting, and he's doing a great job climbing the ladder of the UFC division. If he beats Bisping this weekend, he could possibly see himself in the top 5 or 6 of the division, maybe even contender status with another big win. So let's take a look at these fighters. Let's break them down, see what each person has to do to win this middleweight tussle. What Bisping needs to do is close the distance. He has a significant reach disadvantage with his 72-inch reach to Thales Leites' 78-inch reach. And once he's inside, he needs to brawl and throw punches from different angles, like Tim Boetsch did against Leites, which rocked the Brazilian quite a few times. The next thing the Brit needs to do is throw low kicks often. Thales doesn't check them well, and when he does, he tends to check too high, which leaves him open to his opponent kicking under the raised leg and sweeping him onto the floor. Last, Bisping needs to stay off the cage, where he's more likely to get dragged down to the mat. He needs to circle away at all costs and fight in the middle of the octagon. What Leites needs to do to win this fight is to punch and knee and avoid the kicking game. His striking is very good from the outside, and we saw him do very well against the powerful striker Francis Carmont, where he kept him on the outside and threw a lot of good jabs and crosses and kept his boxing simple, but it was effective. And if Bisping closes the distance on Leites, he needs to immediately grab the head and start working his knees and clinch and maybe push Bisping to the cage and possibly get a takedown if he can drag him down. Next, Leites needs to watch a few things defensively. He tends to do what many tall fighters with reach do, and that's to use a form of the George Foreman style blocks and extend their arms. But when those short punches and looping punches come from weird angles and are flying at your head, they can infiltrate the guard and get through, especially if that chin is high and those hands fall down. Last, Leites needs to get the fight to the cage and work the double leg. But he needs to lock his hands on that double leg. We saw him do that against Boetsch, and it worked perfectly for him. But when he's hit his double leg in the past, if he's not closing those hands up, he's not getting the takedown. So this fight can actually impact the divisional rankings if Thales Leites wins. If Bisping wins, it doesn't really do much rankings-wise, but if Leites wins, he can actually jump up a couple of spots in the division and make a little bit of noise. The other interesting part about this is that Thales Leites is the underdog, and I don't really understand why he's such a big underdog, but I think he's going to win this fight, and I think the bookies are going to be kind of angry that they set the odds the way that he did. So if you want to bet on Leites. I think he's going to pull out the victory. And remember, as always, I'm Santino DeFranco breaking these things down for you at Fight University.